What a week of bowling. It wasn't even a week, it was 2 days. Anyway, we're going to talk about the last final block of qualifying here in a minute. So, stay tuned, I guess. Alright, so we got a lesson to teach some people today. And it sucks being on this end of the lesson. But make your spares, folks, because I just missed match play by 30 pins. And guess how many spares I missed? 3 makeable spares. And if you count baby splits, there was 5 makeable spares. So we're talking 60, 65 pins right there alone. That changes everything. Now I'm bowling again tomorrow. But all in all, still a pretty good week. Bowled a little bit better even today. Bowled 156 over. And I told myself going into today, if I bowl 150 over, I at least give myself a chance. Which was true. I thought it might get to about 240 or 250, or I'm sorry, 340 or 350 over, and it ended up getting to 381. And I was 353, so I didn't miss by much. Luckily hung on to catch the last check, and tied for 29th and 30th, so worked out okay. So this video would be a little bit different had I been 31st or 32nd. We're talking a $2,000 swing there, so I might be a little bit angry, but I'm actually content. I'm okay with how things went. We started the day, we're trying to make better decisions compared to the first couple of days, because obviously the first couple of days I had 2 bad games each block, bowling 170 or 160 twice each block. And I only bowled 50 over the first block, and I bowled almost 150 over yesterday. So I was trying to make sure that didn't happen. So the first game started with Purple Hammer again, urethane, except we started a little bit further left. To try to give myself a little bit of shove room, a little bit of miss left, or if I did miss it left, it didn't overhook, it just kind of sat there, because the urethane just kind of, kept it on line. And then if I missed right, there's enough friction there where I would, flat 10 or swish 7. So it worked out okay. I ended up bowling 2-teen. I doubled in the 10th for 2-teen, but my carry was just not very good. I switched a couple 7 pins, a few 10 pins in there. Otherwise, I'm bowling, 240. And that gets me in right there. So there's one little spot that I could have found some more pins. And then I move and we bowl. We switch to reactive. I go back to that warrant again, and I bowl 240. A couple of bad shots in there, but pretty good 240. And then we go to the other end of the house where they are. The house it's much tougher on the low end. And I bowl 2-teen again, bailing out 2-teen. So I'm making my bad games 2-0 or 2-teen at this point. Or throughout the entire day, I ended up making, my low game was 208, game 5, and it was just on one of those pairs in front of the ball return, or in front of the counter again. But anyway, we'll get there. Game 3 was 2-teen, and then I move again. Got into a good pair, bowled 240, and it was 240 with a hole on the 10th. I left a 3-9-10, and got just the 9-10 out of it. Almost made it, but not quite. So I hole in the 10th for 244. So now I'm sitting, what was I at that point? I think that got me to like 285 over. So I was close to the cash number at that point. Or no, that one got me to 300 over. Yeah, that one got me to 329. And then the next game was that game 5 in front of the counter on the extra frame pair. And it was just, again, my ball hooked a couple different times. Couldn't quite, I started with a double again. And it looked okay, and then it just started hooking again. Luckily, I made some better adjustments, made some better moves, ended up bowling 2-0 instead of 160. So that saves me 40 pins there, because that was 160 last night. And then we moved to the last pair, sticking with that warrant the entire time, and we went to it. It was a tighter pair. Couldn't get the swish 7s out, man. If there was a leave that was left more than anything this week, it was those dang swish 7s. If you came up just a little light, it's like everything splashed towards the 7-pin, but just wouldn't take it out. If you had too much forward roll, it just wouldn't quite get them to fall. So, but that's okay. I knew I needed at least the first hit in the 10th, the last game, to make sure I at least snuck out a check. So we snuck out a check, finished 29th. Moving on, I guess. So not a bad week. Definitely. Just like I said in my Facebook post earlier, it's like if I were to spend, I've never bowled full time out on tour. and if just nothing has ever aligned up to where I could actually just stay out and just bowl, and it's still not going to line up. I'm going to bowl a few more stops, but it's just not going to work out for me to be able to stay out here full time. But if I was to stay out here full time, I have no doubt in my mind that I'd be competitive. I'd be making more cuts. This is really the first tournament I've bowled this year. I bowled the PTQ at the TOC, but that's a crapshoot. You're only taking 6 spots with all those bowlers. They've all got titles. Just a crapshoot. Really, we shouldn't have been bowling that anyway, because I'm a firm believer that it should be all national title holders bowling that event anyway. So, but we have the opportunity to bowl, so I bowled. Didn't make that, and so really this was my first event, and to catch a check here, it's a pretty good little start. So we've got the U.S. Open next week. I'm not bowling, but then we go to Indianapolis the week after that for singles and doubles down there. So we'll see what happens. Going to work hard the next couple of weeks getting ready for that event, and head down that way and see what we can put together for that event. 2 different patterns. We're using dual patterns over there. So anyway, so my little lesson for the day, or for the week I should say, make your spares. Spares generally are going to cost you in the long run if you're not making them. I mean, if you're missing everything anyway, you're out anyway, but you need to be, at least if you're bowling pretty good and you start missing a couple of spares, you're going to kick yourself. Make sure you extra focus on those spares. Those little misses can cost you way too much. And for me this week, it cost me match play. So that's the way it goes. You win some, you lose some, but that's okay. Moving on to the next event. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully I'll have some more cool footage for you the next couple of weeks. Make sure to check out the Bowler X channel. We're going to do some ball reviews this week and do some other cool stuff out there, doing some training videos. So I'm out of here, guys. We'll see you guys later. I'm going to hit the road and head home. So until next time, adios.